Hi, Rupert. I have a hard time talking right this moment. It feels really veiled, or veiled, as you say. Yet knowing I can ask you for your help right now, but I'm basically asking for my homecoming, or I don't know how to put it in better words. It feels like when you talk about the tunnel with the monsters, since having a glimpse of whatever, yeah, it's getting way stronger, dealing with those creatures from way down. And it also feels like in one of your videos you were talking about if you go to the freeway, you might stay for a long period of time on that little alley road that leads to the freeway, actually. And the longing then gets a prison, or we imprison ourselves. And this is pretty much how I feel.
The longing gets...
It's an imprisoning in itself, so it's the prison, then having the longing, yet still believing I'm the separate self, and I long for being home, or I long for being somewhere, I long for being my true nature. And the one that longs isn't the one that is actually already my true nature. That's kind of my understanding.
Yes.
I don't even know what... It's not a question.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I sense your question.
I then feel like, hearing you talking this morning, it was like it all started off so innocently with the child's love for the love in the world. And then this ego kind of corrupts it. And then it gets so hard, and I feel like all this arrogance and all this, but I want this and I want to be it, and I'd love to be like you, or, it's this whole drama thing then going on.
Our longing always takes us towards someone or something. In just the same way that attention is always, when we pay attention to something, we always direct our awareness towards the object of our attention. Well, when we long for something, we direct our love towards something. So longing is to our feelings what attention is to our mind. It's the same thing. It is a directing of ourself towards someone or something. In the case of longing, it is the directing of our love towards that person or thing. So what you have to understand is that what you long for resides at the source of your longing. It can never be an object of your longing. Your longing proceeds from that which you truly long for. It can never go towards it. Your longing always takes you away from yourself, even if it takes you towards someone or something that is very fine or noble. It is still a movement, a feeling movement of yourself away from yourself towards that thing, even if that thing is God, the ultimate object of our longing. It is still a movement of ourself towards that thing. What we truly long for is on this side of our longing. It resides at the source of our longing. So you have to allow your longing to sink backwards, return to its source, and love is the source of longing, rather than going towards anything. And if you trace your longing back to the place in you from which it rises, what do you find there? Well, that is yourself. You'll never find it. You can't find it. You can't know it as an object. You can only be it knowingly. Everybody is already it. But most people are that without knowing it. So you can't even go towards it. If I were to ask you now, stand up and take a step towards yourself, what would you do? You wouldn't move. You are already standing at yourself. You cannot go towards yourself. So you, awareness, are already yourself. But you have lost yourself in your feelings and activities and relationships. You just come back to yourself. You, awareness, are not longing for a new kind of feeling or a new kind of activity or relationship. You just want to taste or know yourself again as you are, without allowing yourself to be mixed up with the content of experience. You just want to taste your naked being again. So one of the most difficult things for the person on the path of devotion is to give up the object of their longing. I'm not saying that this is the case for you now. I'm talking more generally about the path of devotion or the path of longing, in which we have some kind of an object, albeit a fine, noble object, whether it is our teacher or an image of a God or God himself or herself. It's at some point, because as long as there is an object of our devotion, there is a subject of our devotion, and it is that subject, the sense of being a separate subject, that veils our true self from itself. So don't allow your longing to take you away from yourself. Trace it in the opposite direction. Trace it backwards or inwards or selfwards or lovewards to its source. And that is always with you, obscured or veiled by experience from time to time, maybe much of the time, but never absent, and not buried or hard to find. It's not even really behind experience. It shines in the midst of experience. The screen is not buried behind the movie, difficult to see or difficult to access. It is shining in the movie. It's the same with your being. It is shining brightly, not just behind it all experience. It is, we could say it's behind experience, but it also shines in the midst of experience, as experience itself. It is not that our being is hidden. It is rather that the exclusive focus of our attention on the objective content of experience makes it seem as if it is missing. Just like for one who is lost in the drama of a movie, it seems that the screen is missing. The screen isn't missing. It is there in plain sight. It's the same with our being. Our being is totally available. It is not buried. It is not hard to find. It is shining brightly in experience as the knowledge I or I am. But it is seemingly veiled when it loses itself in the content of experience. It seems to overlook or forget itself. And as a result, it seems to have to take the return journey back to itself. So just keep taking that return journey back to yourself until you begin to feel that it's where you reside. It's not just a place in yourself that you visit from time to time. It's the place where you live most of the time. And if as I said in our last conversation, there are still odd experiences that have the capacity to take you away from yourself. Well, so be it. You occasionally lose yourself in experience, but the habit of coming back to yourself is so strong that you don't lose yourself for long, and you just come back. You begin to live there.